They say the dark is empty. They are wrong. Welcome to VTT 199X Media, where the nightmares are real and the stories never end. New horror stories every week. Join us if you're brave enough. Subscribe now and keep the lights on.
Tonight, I want to tell you about a camping trip that was never supposed to become a story. It was meant to be quiet, remote, forgettable. It wasn't. We chose the place because no one went there. No campgrounds, no ranger station, no cell signal, just a stretch of public land deep in rural America, surrounded by forests that went on for miles. There were 3 of us, me, Ethan, and Mark. We weren't thrill seekers. We were just tired of noise, tired of people, tired of cities that never really sleep. The road in was barely a road. Cracked pavement turned to gravel. Gravel turned to dirt. Trees closed in tighter with every mile. The GPS lost signal first, then the radio. By the time we parked, the world felt smaller, like it ended right there. The forest was thick, old, the kind of woods where sunlight barely reaches the ground. Everything smelled damp and metallic. Ethan joked about horror movies. Mark laughed. I didn't. I noticed something right away. The silence. No birds. No insects. No wind in the trees. Just stillness. We set up camp anyway. Tent first. Fire pit second. By the time the sun started to dip, the shadows stretched longer than they should have. That's when Mark found the trail. It wasn't on the map. Just a narrow path between the trees. Too clean to be natural. Probably an old hunting trail, he said. It didn't look abandoned. The ground was packed down. Recently, we agreed not to follow it. At least not that night. When darkness fell, it came fast. No gradual sunset. Just light, and then none. The fire felt small. The woods felt massive. That's when we heard it. A sound deep in the forest. Not an animal. Too steady. Too deliberate. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Not coming closer. Not moving away. Just circling. Ethan stopped talking mid-sentence. Mark leaned forward, listening. Someone else camping? Ethan whispered. I shook my head. No headlights. No voices. No gear sounds. Just footsteps. They stopped suddenly, right when we noticed them. Then silence again, thicker than before. We tried to laugh it off. Told ourselves it was a deer, or our imagination. But the woods felt different now, like something knew we were there. Later that night, as the fire burned low, I realized something else. The trail Mark found earlier was gone. Where it had been, the underbrush was undisturbed, as if it had never existed. I didn't say anything. Not yet. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. The fire was out. The woods were darker than I remembered, and someone was standing just beyond the edge of the clearing. I couldn't see their face, just a shape, tall, still, watching the tent. I held my breath, didn't move. After a long moment, it stepped back and vanished into the trees. The forest swallowed it without a sound. I didn't sleep again that night, and that was only the first night. Morning came too quietly. No birds, no insects, no sound of the forest waking up, just light slowly leaking through the trees. I didn't tell Ethan or Mark about the figure right away. I wanted to convince myself it had been a dream. But when I stepped outside the tent, I knew it wasn't. The ground around our campsite was disturbed. Footprints, barely visible, pressed into the damp soil near the tree line. They weren't animal tracks. Too narrow, too evenly spaced. Mark noticed them too. He crouched down, tracing one with his finger. These are boots, he said quietly. Ethan laughed, a little too loud. Probably hunters, he said, or someone passing through. But there were no tire tracks, no other camps, no signs of anyone else being there. And the footprints didn't lead away. They circled the clearing. Breakfast was quiet. None of us said much. The forest still felt wrong, heavy, like it was holding its breath. Around mid-morning, Mark suggested we scout the area. Figure out where we are, he said. Maybe find that trail again. We packed light and walked in a loose formation. No one wanted to be in the back. The woods looked different in daylight. Not safer, just clearer. Every tree seemed the same. Tall, straight, too close together. After about 15 minutes, Mark stopped. There, he said. The trail was back, exactly where he remembered it. But something about it made my stomach tighten. The ground was packed down deeper than before, like something heavy had moved along it recently. We followed it cautiously. The forest grew denser the farther we went. The air felt cooler, damp. Then we saw the first structure. It wasn't a cabin. Not exactly. Just 4 wooden posts. No walls. No roof. Old rope hung from one of the beams. Frayed. Weathered. Underneath it, the ground was dark. Stained. Mark didn't say anything. Neither did Ethan. We all felt it. This place wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. That's when we heard the voice. Low. Male. Close. Hey. We froze. Anyone out there? The voice said. It sounded normal. Too normal. Ethan answered before I could stop him. Yeah, he called back. We're camping nearby. There was a pause. Then footsteps. From behind the trees emerged a man. Mid-40s, maybe. Unshaven. Wearing dirty jeans and a jacket that didn't fit the weather. He smiled, but his eyes didn't. Didn't expect to see anyone out here, he said. He said his name was Carl. Said he lived nearby. Said he liked to walk the woods. No pack. No gear. No weapon that we could see. He looked at us one by one, lingering just a bit too long. You boys should be careful camping out here, he said. Not safe at night. I asked him why. He smiled again. Wider this time. They come through sometimes. Who? Mark asked. Carl shrugged. People. Then he stepped back into the trees. Just like that. Gone. The forest closed behind him. We didn't speak until we were back at camp. That afternoon, things escalated. Our food container had been moved. Not stolen. Just relocated. Placed neatly beside a tree. Our water bottles were lined up. Caps unscrewed. Someone had been there. While we were gone, Ethan wanted to leave immediately. Mark said we should wait until morning. The car was a long hike back. And the trail, it felt unreliable. That night, we kept the fire burning. No jokes. No music. Just 3 men sitting close together, listening. Around midnight, the sounds returned. Footsteps. Multiple this time. Circling the camp. Branches snapping. Soft breathing. Then, a voice. Right outside the firelight. You shouldn't have come here. It wasn't Carl. The fire flickered, and something stepped closer. But it didn't show itself. It never needed to. We knew we were surrounded. And somewhere in the woods, someone laughed. Low. Satisfied. We stayed awake until dawn. And when morning came, we realized something else. The trail was gone again. By the 3rd morning, none of us pretended this was just bad luck anymore. The woods had made a decision, and it wasn't on our side. We packed in silence. No breakfast. No fire. Just the sound of zippers and shaking hands. The trail was gone. Again, where it should have been, there was nothing but untouched undergrowth. Branches woven together like they'd grown that way. We walk anyway, Mark said. Straight line. East. We started cutting through the woods. The forest fought back immediately. Thorns snagged our clothes. Roots tripped us. After 20 minutes, I noticed something that made my stomach sink. We passed the same tree twice. A dead oak with a split trunk. One side burned black by an old lightning strike. We're walking in circles, I said. No, Ethan snapped. We're not. But his voice lacked conviction. That's when we heard it. A vehicle. An engine. Close. We ran toward the sound, crashing through brush. Hope surged for the first time in hours. And then we broke through the trees. Onto the highway. Or what should have been the highway. The asphalt was cracked. Overgrown. No lane markings. No tire tracks. It looked old. And used. A pickup truck was parked on the shoulder. Engine idling. Driver's door open. Hello. Mark shouted. No answer. I approached the truck slowly. The inside was empty. Keys still in the ignition. Radio playing low static. That's when the engine shut off. By itself. The radio died. Behind us. Footsteps. We turned. Four people stood at the tree line. Men. Local. Dirty. Relaxed. Carl was among them. Smiling. Told you it wasn't safe, he said. My mouth went dry. One of the men spoke. You boys got turned around, he said calmly. Happens out here. Let us go, Ethan said. They laughed. Not mockingly. Comfortably. We don't stop people from leaving, Carl said. People just don't. Mark lunged for the truck. Before he could reach it, something hit him from behind. He went down hard. I heard the crack of bone. They didn't rush us. Didn't need to. Hands grabbed my arms. Firm. Experienced. They tied us. Quickly. Efficiently. This isn't personal, one of them said. It's just how things work. They marched us into the woods. Not along a trail, but they knew where they were going. After about 10 minutes, we reached a clearing. Dozens of makeshift structures. Tents. Shacks. Hanging lines. People moved between them. Families. Children. Watching us without curiosity. This wasn't a camp. It was a settlement. Carl leaned close to me. You see, he whispered, the forest gives us privacy. I noticed something then. No one here looked surprised to see us. Mark was bleeding badly. They didn't help him. As night fell, they locked us inside a wooden structure. No windows. Just a door. We could hear them outside. Eating. Talking. Laughing. Like this was normal. Like this was home. That's when I realized the worst part. No one here was hiding. No one was afraid. They weren't monsters. They were neighbors. And the forest, it didn't trap people. It kept secrets. Night fell without warning. Inside the structure, there was no way to tell time. No windows. No cracks of light. Just darkness. And breathing. Mark was barely conscious. His breathing came in short, wet gasps. Ethan knelt beside him, pressing down on the wound with shaking hands. I sat against the wall, listening. Outside, the settlement didn't sleep. Footsteps passed by. Voices murmured. Someone laughed. Normal sounds. Domestic sounds. After a while, the door opened. Light spilled in. Carl stood there. Alone. You get one chance, he said. He looked at Mark, then at us. The forest doesn't like waste. He unlatched the door and stepped aside. Run, he said, but don't stop. We didn't hesitate. Ethan lifted Mark as best he could. I grabbed his other side. We staggered into the trees. No one chased us. No shouts. No alarms. Just silence. That scared me more than anything else. We ran until our lungs burned. Branches tore at our skin. Roots sent us crashing to the ground. Mark slowed us down. Blood soaked through his clothes. I can't, he whispered. We heard something then. Not footsteps. Breathing. Close. Surrounding us. Figures emerged between the trees. Not rushing. Not hiding. Just appearing. Carl's voice came from behind us. Not him, he said. Hands grabbed Mark. Firm. Final. Mark screamed. Once. Then he was gone. Ethan tried to fight. They knocked him down easily. Someone leaned close to me. Go, they whispered. And they pushed me. Hard. I fell forward. Rolled. Hit the ground. When I looked up, I was alone. The forest was quiet again. I ran. At some point, I hit pavement. Real pavement. Fresh paint. Reflective lines. A highway. The real one. I collapsed there until headlights appeared. A state trooper pulled over. Asked me questions. Wrapped me in a blanket. I told him everything. They searched the area. Found nothing. No settlement. No structures. No trail. Mark was listed as missing. Ethan too. The official report said we got lost. Said panic did the rest. They closed the case. Months later, I drove that highway again. I didn't plan to. I just realized I'd taken the wrong exit. There was a new sign. Brown. Unassuming. Primitive camping area. No facilities. The forest behind it was dense. Quiet. Waiting. I didn't stop. But as I drove past, I saw movement between the trees. And someone raised a hand. Not to wave. To count. 1. Then 2. Then 3. I kept driving. Some places don't need fences. They just need patience. And people who wander. The forest remembers. And it always keeps something behind.
Do you believe this story is true or just a legend? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Every interaction helps the channel grow and bring you even more horror stories.